Hey folks, welcome back to Maypole Farm, and the plan for today is to get the grain dryer in, get the oats drying. It's been a while since I've used this mod. Like I think the last time I looked at it might have been when it was being developed. Quite possibly. And testing it and helping debug it, because I think that's the last time I probably harvested some grain. Well, no, actually the last time I harvested some grain was on my test save, but I didn't get around to putting the grain dryer in there because of the issues I mentioned in the last video. And the last video was recorded about 20 minutes ago, so I haven't actually got around to progressing that any further. So yeah, what we're going to do is make some space, because I want to put the grain dryer up against the side of this shed. I think that is a good location for it. So that's where we're going to put it. Probably need, get rid of the store delivery point, because that might cause us issues. Right, so productions. Nope. There we are. Grain dryer small. Spin it round. We want snapping on. Replace on. And we will put it there. And yeah, it's been a very long time since I used this, so I don't remember how it works. We need wood. That could be a challenge. Unless settings, better contracts, deadwood contracts. Because I think with those, you just have to cut the trees down. But it's been a while. Yeah, I'd forgotten that bit. Damn you, sir. Damn you. I don't think we own any trees unless any of the trees are right on the boundary of our owned property. So let's tip that in. I'm wondering. I've got a thought. I wonder how many litres we get from the bit of wood that we cut down to make our entrance to the field. $78. Which is enough to dry 780 litres of oats. Okay. No, that's not going to cut it, is it? Um, got another thought. Looks like we own right up to the boundary of the map along the field up here. Don't think we do here. No. If we look here, we don't. Here, we do. And the boundary of the map is lined with trees. This was not what I'd planned to do today. But that suggests that we own these trees. So, that suggests we can get some free wood. Now we're going to have to get the wood out of here. So my thought is we maybe lease a small logging winch, put it on the back of the little Zoids, get a chainsaw, cut down some trees. Not at all what I plan to be doing today. Screw you and your realistic mod that requires fuel to dry bloody crops. What kind of stupid mod is that? Why can't it just be magical? Right. Okay, so forestry, I guess. Not impressed with you, sir, at all. Winches. The smallest winch. Lease. Yes. Now, I don't think I've shown you the prices, actually. But I'm not really annoyed, because if we go into prices, oats are worth, let's call it £800 per 1,000 litres. Best price, 1,100 per 1,000 litres. If we go down to dry oats, thank you, Eagles, for the bit of XML to add them to map sell points. We're looking at currently about 1,600, so a lot more. Not necessarily than the best price, but you know, we're still looking at £500 per 1,000 litres more, and we can sell them right now for a good price. It's a lot more than £700 per 1,000 litres. We need an chainsaw, steel. Hopefully you can't hear my washing machine in the background. Yes, this is the real world. We have to do things like wash clothes. Look at that for a forestry setup. Not at all dangerous. Open top tractor. You know, there's a safety guard there. This is fine. Now I am relying on the fact that I am going to be able to cut down some of these trees. Now these are going to be horrible trees to work with. So we're going to cut down trees that are further back to hopefully have less impact on how the map looks. But equally, yes, we can. Epic. Equally, the further back they are, the worse they're going to be to deal with. But we want to cut them so they fall. Oh, none of this is good. None of this is good, folks. You, because you're quite small. So actually we want to place the tractor the other side of you. We're going to take you. First. Yep. Yew tree. You are not a yew tree, but yew tree. Do I have the lumberjack mod installed? I do. Epic. Right. Pull rope. No. Wrong button. Wrong button again. R. Attach. And because it's a horrible tree, there is 0 point trying to limb it because it won't limb properly because it's not a pine. So, yep. Thankfully, it won't damage any of the crops. So, we just send it. And this is how we dry our crops. Now, in theory, we could clear all of those trees and get expanded field boundaries. Come on. But, you know, we won't go that extreme because that will get boring really quick. Come on. Come on, little tractor. You can do it. The little tractor that could. I've got to try and get this in the trigger. So we want to move the truck out of the way, which someone left running because, you know, burning artificial diesel fuel doesn't impact the environment. Actually, what we'll do is, I've got it pulled in quite tight anyway. How big is the trigger for the wood? That's a good question. We will find out in a moment, I guess. Haha. So that's enough to do all of the loads that we have. Output mode is storing. Activate. It's working. While we've got the winch, I'm going to go get another one. That feels sensible in case we get more. I mean, it's quite cheap to lease, but you know. I guess the question is whether we put down the cheaty sell point. I mean, do we fully explore the capabilities of the mod that the modder provides? That's what I meant to say. To fully demonstrate the capability of the mod, you know? And I feel in a way it would be bad not to fully show off the capabilities of the mod that the modder provides. It's quite a big margin here, but equally I don't want to take out a lot of the trees because they're part of the field boundary or the map boundary, so we're not going to go too crazy with cutting down trees. There we go. No, wrong button again. Give me a thing. B. There we go. Can we tow this one out? This one feels bigger. Good stuff. Let's bung cruise control on. Yeah, I'm not going to take too many more out because otherwise we're going to lose the map boundary, which is probably a bad idea. But it's done a job for us. It's done a job. And it might make quite a funny thumbnail, so just in case, we'll grab a screenshot for a thumbnail. Maybe I should have kept my momentum. But anyway, try and go wider this time to avoid getting stuck on that edge. Yes, like a professional log-taking person. I know what I'm doing. It's farming, right? It's part of farming, cutting down trees to fuel your grain dryer. Yes, yes. I'm sure it's exactly how real farmers do this kind of stuff. There we go. So we now have a decent amount of wood. We've already dried a third of the grain. So I think we'll return that. Yeah. And I'm just going to save the game. And let's have a look at the map. And the grain mill is up there. Grain mill is not on a viable farmland. That is, though, because that's a farm. That would make sense. The sugar mill and warehouse is, and cement factory. So if we, no, went in, selling points. He wants to charge me 50 quid for that. Damn it. If we did that, we could stick that somewhere like there. I think we do what we did before. So that's farmland 161. There's the option for farmlands. 161 set to my farm. There. Put that by the roller door. There we go. And then F12, farmland 161, back to NPC. Let's just check. Yeah, that's okay. Then if we check prices for dry oats, actually the price is not that much more, but we will sell at that one. It's a little bit more. And soybeans, best price currently is at the oil mill, but it's only slightly less at the animal dealer, and the animal dealer is closer. So Let's load up the truck. Can't believe I've been going for so long, and all we've done is arse about with the grain dryer. There's the washing machine finished, if you were hearing it. Which means I've got to go hang washing up after this. But it's time to start making some cash. Oh, I've got silage in there still. Okay. We will feed that to the cows because I need 400 litres. There we go. And that can go off. I'm not actually sure how many litres of soybeans we got off of that field. And I've not got any mods installed which tell me how much is in a heap on the ground. So, but anywho, I've left almost every vehicle running that I can, just to annoy those of you that get annoyed by such things. Yeah, a little bit unstable with obviously a giant bucket full of grain up in the air. But yeah, I'd intended to use the grain dryer on Rotterdam Island, but that save got stopped when we just had too much going on, and I decided to focus on the one farm sim save, with all of the other content that I make. So I'm trying something different with recording 2 videos in a row of some of the games that I play, certainly at the weekend, seeing if that works. Whether it will or not, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure how it's going to work with editing them and releasing them and stuff. And we'll see. We'll see. It's worth trying doing something different like that. Got a lot more soybeans than I thought we had. It's going to be a nice payday. It's going to be a pretty solid payday. This is going to be a few truckloads. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to work in the week, because I tend to have less time to do that. And I don't always have this much time at the weekends to do it either. But this weekend it's worked out that way, so taking advantage of it. Right. While we're in vehicles, let's switch them off. Let's head to the animal dealer. Yeah. Anyway, the thing that gets harder when I do back-to-back, certainly back-to-back farm sim videos, because farm sim videos are the most rambly, is what to ramble about. Actually, here's a topic for you. Top Gear. I was watching a Instagram video, I guess, whatever they're classed as. That guy Gray, you may or may not have heard of him. He makes predominantly car-focused content on Instagram. And he was responding to someone who was saying about bringing back Top Gear. And he had what I think is the very valid opinion that you just can't do that. Because, and I think I've kind of expressed this opinion before, Top Gear only worked with Clarkson, Hammond and May. Now, the very old Top Gear sort of worked, with the very, very old version, where they did it purely journalistically with people like Tiff Needell and that kind of thing. That worked. But the later evolution of Top Gear only worked with, in my opinion, those guys. I never watched the later iterations where they attempted to bring it back. And I don't think they can. That trio just worked. They were, I'm not going to say unique, but you're not going to recreate it. You just have to let it go. And I think you just have, if you want to find similar style stuff, it sort of exists, but it's not Top Gear. And you're not going to get that on mainstream media anymore. You need to, and this is a little bit what he was saying, there is car content on YouTube, and some of it is similar. You get people doing road trip style stuff, not of the scale of the Grand Tour and that kind of thing, or the big road trips that they did on Top Gear, because the budget for that is insane. But that kind of stuff exists. There are people that do that kind of stuff that are funny, if you want that. There are people that do challenge content around cars on YouTube. There are people that do funny stuff around cars on YouTube. There are people that do serious stuff around cars on YouTube. And you've just got to find what you like. You've got the very recent zip tie tuning from Alex and Andy, formerly of LTT, fired from LTT for doing car content on their own channel. Confirmed as fired from, because they did a video saying we were fired from, and saying that it was the best thing that happened to them. And, bearing no ill will towards LTT for being fired from. Because it gave them the push and the freedom to go do what they're doing now. There's a bunch of other channels. Some of them I have watched a little bit of and I don't like. Some of them, one that's not really that heavily car focused, but somewhat not really. The channel called All the Gear that I enjoy watching. They started out doing more car focused content, but they now do much more random stuff. And I enjoy their content. Two guys that are just kind of funny. They make very light-hearted content, and might surprise you that I enjoy their stuff, because some of it's quite silly, but sometimes I just need that. And I won't always watch their videos as soon as they come out, because I need to be in the right frame of mind to watch what they do. But yeah, and I think my point with this ramble is you can't just other stuff. Richard Hammond has a channel, does a lot of car content. His daughter Izzy does car content. She's really quite good. Obviously quite different, but yeah, really quite good. They do stuff together. Very good dynamic. Very interesting dynamic in the way that they work together. I found it quite weird at first, but actually quite like it, because she calls him Richard, which is weird because it's her dad, but you know, it's his name. So, and it's a working relationship, so you know. Anyway, yeah, very good. She's very good at that kind of thing. We can turn the oat dryer off now. We still have a decent amount of wood in the dryer. Yeah, I think my point is, you can't always try and recreate something that was really good in the past. Not sure where I'm going with that point. It was mostly something to ramble about. I guess maybe the link to Farm Sim, and it's a tenuous one, and I'm reaching a little bit, is maybe we have to sometimes let go of some of the things in Farm Sim that we used to have. This goes back, actually, maybe seasons, which I was talking about last time, which we have had to let go of, because we're not getting it back, it would appear. We didn't get it back in 22, did we? And people often struggle with letting go of maps between versions, and will desperately hang on to the dodgy converts that we get. But that's a different story, isn't it? I'm not going to go rant about that. I'm going to enjoy how much we eventually made from that field of soybeans. That was a lot of cash. Finances. 54 grand, nearly. Remember? Someone remember 53.5 grand, because we're now going to go sell the dry oats. I wonder if, I don't think this is going to get us enough to buy that field we want, but it's not going to be far off. Yes, I'm probably driving on, no, I think I am on the right side of the road, because we're on the wrong side of the truck. But that is a decent amount of money that we have earned there. Finally, soybeans are such a frustrating but worthwhile crop, because you have to sit on them for a whole freaking year, but you then make a ton of money. And with how much straw we've got, it's almost tempting to throw them in the field again. Alright, I think we have to back into here. Yep. There we go. Nice dry oats. It's amazing how they don't lose any volume when you dry them. I guess that's because we don't lose any kernels of... Is it kernels? Is kernels the right word? I don't know. Of oats. So we're preserving that. And I guess they're less. There's probably less mass in there. You know, because there'll be less weight, but we've preserved the number of litres somehow. Through magic. Anyway, we're going to make a bunch more money, and money's good. Having been broke for so long, it's frustrating that we don't think we can borrow any more at the moment. We'll find out once we've picked our way out of here. This is the point where I wish we'd got the GT engine, but, you know, it is what it is. At least we got enough space to take all of the crop. And off we go up to... We are going to go to the GT sell point to make a bit more cash. But we're not quite going to get enough for the field that I want, I don't think. We might be able to get it next month. Once the milk starts to come in. Which will be cool. I am not going to complain at that. It's nice having a vehicle that can actually travel at a decent speed. And that's kind of why I wanted to get a truck. Well, it's not. I got it because it was cheap. But it was a bonus of getting a truck. Let's go with it. And actually, the cheaty prices at the cheaty sell point that come with the mod were not as cheaty as I thought. So I will apologise, Cartech, for claiming that you were super cheaty. Did I say cheaty enough? I don't think I did. Crash. And there's my penance for calling you cheaty, I guess. Right. Let's find this sell point now, which is back here somewhere. In front of the... There we go. I think it's here. I believe this is it. Yep. Let's make some money. Some more money. Very nice. Actually, we don't need to worry about remembering the number because we're going to get this in one hit. 30 grand with the environmental bonus. 31 grand. Very nice. Let's check the map. So 15 is what I'd really like, I think. Because that's got parsnips, whereas I think the other one is sugar beets. 157, yeah. So we're close, 20 grand short. I think we can maybe pick that up with contracts. And then lose it in the insurance claim on the 2 crashes. Yeah, I reckon we could make that in contracts. We will endeavour to make that in contracts before the end of the month. What we're going to do next is get back to the farm, grab the baler, get the straw baled, and then between we'll do the straw baling, and then between videos I will try and earn enough to buy that field. I think that is a good target because a whole load of sugar beet is going to be really good for feeding the cows. Yeah, that's a good idea. And it's like it's an easy field to get to rather than having to come up and over to get to the other fields, which you can see with our truck is going to be a pain. Right. Which would be what we would have to do if we went for any of the like 11 or 12, which we could afford now. So, let's park the truck up. Let's jump in the Steyr, which I know we could have just done without tabbing, but it's hailing for a change. That's 5.1 and 3. We're going to see if we can get the automation set up to help with this. I don't know if it'll let us. Doesn't? Maybe. I don't think it does actually with balers, but we'll see. You'll see. Obviously, the combine is going to be in the way for part of it, but you know. Do what we can. Do what we can. Big bales of straw. Three headlands. And this is what I was saying about I like the consistency of how the Giants tool does worker stuff. Because we can set the right working width and it'll just line up. Which is nice. If you want to be lazy. Like I do, sometimes. Just makes this kind of job a heck of a lot easier. Yep. And sometimes course play is not so easy to get consistent like that. I mean, obviously you've got the ability to copy courses, which does allow you to get that consistency and save them. And you can't save or copy courses with the Giants one, so that's not so good. But, you know, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Swings and roundabouts. Ooh. Amazon. Okay, they are not coming until significantly later, so that's fine. We will get that headland a bit later. It's always really interesting, actually. Well, I find it interesting watching, completely the wrong time of year, obviously, but the real fields being combined and baled around some of the areas that I live. And it seems to be quite common that they will combine and bale the headlands first. And I assume this is maybe larger farms that have their own equipment. Because they'll do the headland, drop the straw swath, leave the straw to dry enough to bale it, then come back and do the rest of the field later. which seems a little bit unusual. And I'm kind of saying that as a little bit of a question. But yeah, that seems to be something that certainly a few of the local farms do here. Whether that's a local contracting company that does all of them, or whether that's a local farm that has all of their own kit, I don't know. But yeah, I've seen that consistently for a few years. So, and I don't know, I think other farms it's quite common that they will chop straw on the headlands and then bale straw on the body of the field. And Cosplay has that option. Right, what we do is get lined up and then drop the bales there. Come on. Oh, why won't you fall off? Very annoying. I guess it would probably last for the short. No. Helps if you drop the pickup header, doesn't it? Oh no, it helps if you turn the baler on. That's the jobby. That's the one that helps. Trying to avoid dropping bales actually on the headland, so that they're not in the way. When we're doing the up-down rows. And so far we have successfully managed that, which is good. Yeah, and you probably won't care about this. I've also been unsuccessfully managing the disk space on all of my computers. I either need to have a big purge of old content or buy more disks, and it's probably going to be to have a purge of old content, which I never like doing, but everything is getting full, which is a bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. I don't like having to purge old content. I like trying to keep it all, but there is a limit, and I think I've got about 18 terabytes of storage, and that is my limit at the moment. So yeah, and it's all almost full. So, and it gets a bit difficult when it's all almost full, because it all gets a bit of a pain to manage. Mostly a pain when the disk that I edit off of is full. So yeah, but that's not a problem for you, that's a problem for me. At the moment it's too full to copy the stuff I'm recording onto. So the last video, the last MAYPOLE video, which I recorded a little while ago, I couldn't copy onto my editing computer. So. But the nice thing is I've now got 4 videos recorded, which is cool. A good place for next week. I need to try and record another Gran Turismo video, and I'll be in a very good place. But who knows, I might do that this afternoon. We'll see. I might just relax. Actually, also need to go for a run later, ideally, but I'm not feeling that today. My old head's not in the best places at the moment, so that could be because I'm not eating well and not drinking enough. So, if you don't look after your body, it doesn't look after you. And I've really not done well with my eating the last few weeks. And certainly with like I think I've probably said I must have. My skin is very sensitive to what I eat, and if I eat the wrong things, my skin starts to, I say fall off. It gets really flaky, and it does literally, like the outer layer falls off. But equally, my headaches are quite sensitive to what I eat, which is kind of dumb that I don't eat the right things then. But also, it gets a bit tiring eating the right things all the time. So, because it's not always the most convenient food to eat. And I've not been doing well with hydration. Some of that is because of the neurodivergence, and we suck at hydration and drinking and eating and all that kind of thing. But if you can hyper focus on it, sometimes you can be really good at it. But I've lost that focus. So. Oh well, I will get it back. I will get it back. I keep telling myself that. And I've done the classic. I will start doing well at it again on day X. And then I fail at it. And then I'd be like, I will just eat whatever thing is that I've brought, and then I will start again. And then I fail at it. Then it's part of being human, isn't it? But it's frustrating sometimes. It's so frustrating sometimes. And it's quite, I quite like, well, I don't know, likes may be the wrong word. It's quite encouraging that sometimes when I share these stories, you guys share your similar experiences in the comments, because it kind of helps. And hopefully it helps you guys that I share my own experiences the same way. So, yeah. Partly why I do it. It's partly because it helps me when I unload this stuff. So, yeah. Anywho, we are nearly done. I know I have one headland left to do as well. But at this point, I am going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, because I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are awesome. Interested in any of those, there are links down below. You will get, if you join a Patreon, you will get slightly early access to the videos, usually the day before. And it's slightly better than supporting me through YouTube channel membership, because I get slightly more of the pennies. And there are all sorts of options for how much you would like to spend if you would like to support me. It is entirely optional, by the way. Just watching the videos is enough. Watching and commenting, if you would like to do a little bit more, is even more helpful, because that tells YouTube that you like the videos. However much you comment, you could just say, I really liked this video. Or you could say, I really didn't like this video, because that tells YouTube you really liked it, actually, confusingly. I know. The vagaries of social media, huh? Actually, one of my favourite things about people that rant about social media. By telling the creator that they don't like the thing that they like, they're telling the platform that they do like it. which is most funny on some of the types of social media that I enjoy. But we are not going to put those away because I have been rambling on for quite long enough. May do that between videos. Partly because my bale stacking skills are not as good as they used to be. But I'm going to say thanks for watching, folks, and I will see you next time.